A little aggressive on that taxi out. Has a hard time getting moving sometimes. So we made one flight earlier, and it was freaking awesome. So 0 frame losses on the radio, which is really good news. So anyways, this is going to be a practice flight for Scale Masters. So I'm going to be taking off. I'm going to set the brakes. Comes the power. Load it up on the brakes. Start my timer. There we go. Brakes off. About 3/4 power. Gear coming up right away. Off they go. Here comes the flaps up. Let's see what we got on the downwind if we're clean. See if that nose gear came up. Looks like all the gear are up. All right, first maneuver I'm going to do here is what's called the figure 8. So this is to give the judges a solid look at the airplane. So here comes the figure 8. Starting maneuver now. A little sloppy on that rollout. A little slow too, speeding it up a little bit.
Time remaining 7 minutes.
Come across, level out. Carry out to the other side. The second half was much better than the first half. I started off too slow. Rolling out and end maneuver. All right, next maneuver I'm going to do is a slow roll. So right now we're just above half throttle. I'm going to sneak it up to about 3/4, which is where this looks the most scale and performs the nicest. Got a little headwind. Starting maneuver now.
Time remaining 6 minutes.
Maneuver complete. You see there how right in the middle of my roll, right as I was inverted, I was right in front of myself at show center. So that's kind of what you want to do. All right, backing off the power to conserve some fuel. All right, next maneuver I'm going to do, which isn't necessarily a standard United States Air Force training practice, but we're going to do a 4-point roll, 3/4 power. 4-point roll, starting maneuver now. And maneuver complete. And again, coming back on the power, save some fuel. All right, next maneuver is going to be a loop. So for this one, I'm going to go out a little farther, get a little more of a run at it.
Time remaining 5 minutes.
Coming back into the power is about 60%. There's about 75. And here comes full. Next maneuver is a loop. Starting maneuver now. Right over the top. Probably a little too close to the runway for the judges to have to look up at that, but not too bad. Maneuver complete. Basically, you want to start and stop the loop at the same spot, right at show center. And I was close on the pullout, but what I should have done was extend over the top a little bit farther to get myself a little bit farther to the right for the pullout. So next maneuver I'm going to do is a Cuban 8.
Time remaining 4 minutes.
Starting maneuver now. Here comes full throttle. I'm going to let her eat down to the end there and pull her into the vertical. Easily breaking the 400-foot rule. Just massive vertical. All right, 45. Rolling out. Staying back on the power for now. Coming back into the power. Back out of the power, rolling out to 45. And recovering. Maneuver complete. I got a little sideways on the first part and put me off course a little bit. These are all things that you have to pay attention to while you're doing more precise type maneuvers, especially for competition, guys that fly IMAC and 3D and stuff.
Time remaining 3
are very
minutes.
familiar with that type of flying. I'm gonna try to loop again. Not this time, I'm too close. I'm just gonna do a flyby. This is normal speed pass, maneuver starting. Maneuver complete. You can see just how smooth this thing is with AS3X or with Synapse. The gains are pretty low, so they're not really doing a whole lot, but it's just enough to take the edge off of everything. And this thing already flew amazing as it was before. So, all right, we're gonna do the loop next. So a little farther out. Here's full power. Loop is the next maneuver. Starting maneuver now. Getting a good run at it. A little farther out this time. I'm not going to let it go as high this time. Okay, letting it extend it up and over the top a little bit better. There we go.
Time remaining 2
Power
minutes.
off. Come downhill. And maneuver complete. That was close. I got a little bit off to the north there, but the pullout was pretty close. So, all right, we're down to 1.5 minutes left. So this next pass is going to be a gear pass. I don't know if that's qualified as a maneuver for the competition. I'll have to look into all that stuff. You see we got a bunch of dust blowing out here. So basically what I do is I come back in the power, kick out the speed brakes, half flap, here comes the gear. Gear down, not in a very pretty fashion. These are spring air retracts, so they kind of just bang down, unfortunately. There's not much I can do about that. I just dodged a bird out there. That was close. Okay, so I'm in the pattern right now at about 40% throttle. This is going to be a touch and go. A little bit more power now as it settles in, the nose comes up, drag increases. Here comes full flaps. All right, base turning final, coming back on the power, get it slowed. Nose is still down, so we got plenty of airspeed. Okay, flattening out now, slowing down. Nose is coming up, here comes the power. A little more power. And touchdown, speed brakes up, flaps at half, power back to 3/4. And gear coming up. I don't know if they made it up or not. They have a hard time going up on the second
20
try.
seconds.
We'll see where they're at when we get around the corner here. Yeah, the gear all up. That looks like actually one was hung.
10.
Gear coming down. All right, we got all three. No worries. All right, we're at half flap. Here comes the speed brakes. This will be a landing.
Timer expired.
I didn't call my maneuver completed that one. That was bad. All right, here comes full flap. See the nose is high. She's a little slow. Let me get the nose dropped in here. All right. Come off the power. Nose is coming up. Back into the power. I didn't like that one, so we're going around. I felt too rushed on the approach. It turned in too soon. So these are all the types of things you have to think about when trying to execute a nice scale landing, especially with a model this big and heavy. You got to have room, you got to plan ahead, and you got to be focused. All right, here comes the speed brakes. Here comes full flaps. Coming back on the power. Let's give some
Minus 1 minute.
a little bit longer final approach here to get the power setting dialed in and the descent rate. So coming back in the power. She's leveled off. Back in the power. Not quite as nice as I would have liked to have seen, but not terrible. It is pretty bumpy down there, so it kind of gets bounced back in the air, but That first touch and go was pretty good. All right, let's bring her back in. So that's the second flight on Synapse. I might turn up my roll gains just a hair, but I don't really want to touch the elevator. The thing doesn't really need much pitch compensation. I really just wanted this gyro for the roll axis. But anyways, as you guys can see, and I forgot to call maneuver complete on that landing. As you guys can see, this thing, I mean, can be flown in a pretty scale manner, so. I love that. I love how the nose bobs up and down when you hit the brakes. Now let's see what we got for holds and frame losses here. Obviously no holds and no frame losses. When I take a look at that, that is what we call a solid connection. So not a single piece of information was lost during that flight, which is super cool. Anyways, hope you guys like my Scale Masters practice with the old T-38. We'll see you in the next one.